Hi everyone, Vito here, and today I'm with Christina, the queen of care plans, as I like to refer to you,
Yeah.
Christina. I'm really excited about this session today, and I'm excited to have you here with us or coming back. There's a lot to share about finding new care plan clients, increasing MRR, how to convert existing clients to the care plans, and a whole bunch of amazing stuff that you just showed me a minute before the session today. So, how are you, Christina?
I'm doing well. I'm doing actually really good today. I'm excited to talk about this. And you're so kind, Vito. We've known each other for a few years now. So thank you for that introduction. That was kind.
My pleasure. So I've said this in some of the other trainings that we did, and that was a while ago. It's been a while since
Yeah.
we've done something like this together. But at my agency, I marked my entire care plan strategy after a video that I found of you on YouTube from years ago presenting at a word camp. It was like on 360, the quality was like
Oh my gosh, I'm
360.
sure it was horrible. It was
I
probably
couldn't
like
really
I was
figure
probably
out
this
what is
small in it.
yeah, it was tiny and I couldn't figure out what was on the slide, but I zoomed in and I built my entire care plan strategy based on your teachings back then, and it paid off. We ended up with five figures in monthly revenue
Yeah.
just on the care plan
Yeah.
side on the agency. So if you don't have care plans, this is the person to listen to.
Oh,
Or
thank
this is
you.
the person to listen to. So I'm just gonna hand this over to you, Christina. If you're here on the chat with us, let us know where you're connecting
Yeah.
from, what you're expecting to learn from Christina. If you have any questions through this session, we're gonna have a few minutes of Q&A towards the end as well. So let's dive in.
Yeah, nice. Oh, that's so great. I'm glad to know that going to those word camps paid off for other people because
Yeah.
there's like three people in the room. It's good they record them. But that's awesome. All right. Well, what I did, Vito, was I prepared like a little presentation,
Yeah.
little slides with some info to kind of go over from a high level all the different ways that you can get more care plans. And for anyone who's watching, it's tough for me to know where to position the conversation. Who's watching? Are they just starting out and they don't have a lot of these care plans? Are they like in their agency and they've got them, but they just want more? Or are they like further along and they've got to like take it to the next level? So
Right.
it's always hard because I even got feedback from one of the other webinars that the guy was like, this is simple stuff. I'm like, well, it depends on who I'm talking to because, we're all at different stages of our agency. So I try to mix it up. I try to put in a lot of different stuff today to try to hit a whole bunch of people at different places. So bear with me if it does seem kind of like this is you've heard it before. Hang in there, and hopefully something else will come out, a little nugget or something like that. So
And I like to do it in a way that I go back to pieces of training that I
yeah,
watch because I have my 1 hour a day that I learn new stuff, and I come back to things that I watched even a couple of years ago and rewatch them because things click in a different way after you implement different
yeah,
things. So I think that, and I totally get why you're doing this. I would say for those that are watching, do implement
yeah,
the things that make sense to you right now, and come back to this. This is going to be on
yeah.
YouTube. The replay is going to be on YouTube, in our Facebook group, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and everywhere. So
Yes, great
um,
advice.
let's share the
Okay,
screen, Christina. So let's
all
move
right,
over
sounds good.
to the other one there. Perfect. And yeah, and
You
like
see
I
it?
said before, I see more people are starting to join us now. So
Awesome.
make sure that you let us know in the comments where you're connecting from, who you are, how was the week, what did you do
Yeah,
in your business this week, and if you have any questions for Christina now or through the session is the time, and I'll bring them over later on. So over to you,
perfect.
Christina.
Yeah, throw questions out while I'm talking. We'll get it to the end. We'll get them at the end. So you can see my screen where it says how to find new care plan clients. We're good. You
Yes,
can see that screen?
perfect.
Perfect. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get into more specifics and we'll get off the training portion of this. But I want to start by introducing myself, because even though Vito gave a great introduction, like people should know who I am. A lot of times there are named people who don't, so that's cool. But I've been in this for a few years now, teaching about care plans and client relationships for agencies. I started off like Vito and I, we have a whole other life before any of this. So I won't go back that far. But when I started my agency in 2009, that's kind of where I became official. And then by 2013 was when I started implementing website care plans, when I started realizing I didn't want my clients to go away, that recurring revenue was really important. So I started that. And then off of that, started coaching other agency owners and freelancers how to do this. Did it first through WP Elevation, which is now Agency Mavericks, and then created my own WP Care Market to focus on this specifically, but not just care plans, client relationships, because I think that's the key. If we built an agency that had a consistent list of monthly recurring revenue with great clients, we really wouldn't have to outreach for more. We would just use that list to get more projects, to get more services in our business to serve them. So it really becomes that core revenue that could support all of your agency. You could hire staff off of that income and kind of take a step back and only do in your agency what you love to do. So for me, it is the secret sauce to everything. It is the secret sauce to kind of running a productive business where you're not failing every month and knowing what your income is. It's very predictable, as predictable as it can be. And you start to budget and plan off of that monthly recurring revenue rather than your project revenue. So that's my goal. That's why I keep having these conversations. And even though they seem to always be about care plans, to me, it is a conversation around your agency as a whole. Because if you get this down and you have this running well, then to my mind, you're succeeding. You're doing awesome. When we get into this, I did make a download for you guys. I think Vito has an easy little banner that he can pop up throughout this if after I move on from the slide, but it's a redirect URL. So if it doesn't redirect, sometimes it does, the cache is crazy. So wpcaremarket.com/get more. And it's just a download for the session. It's a Google Doc. If there's any issues with that, we'll come back at the end of the slides and take a look, but it should redirect successfully. I talk about today 3 different areas in order to increase your recurring revenue. Before I do that, I think we do need to get on the same page with what website care plans are. They are website maintenance, but they're more than that. They are ways that you have a relationship with your client to proactively care for their website every month, but that includes solutions for growth. So it's not just updating a few plugins. It's proactively paying attention to their revenue generating 24/7 sales machine and making sure that they're taking advantage of all the things that they need to. So it is that gateway to that relationship in ways that you can actually help them grow online. So usually support them with other services. So it's more than just website maintenance. It is website care. You are caring about them as a client. It obviously is recurring revenue. So it should be some kind of monthly charge or yearly subscription fee that is automatic and you don't have to worry about it. It just happens every month. It also should involve an efficient process. So they should be profitable. If they're not profitable, probably don't have a good process going on. There's other courses I've made for that. And lastly, they should lead to more work. When done right, it is a way to position yourself as an expert. So you're giving them some kind of report every month, or you're checking in with them and they're remembering that you do these things and they're coming back to you for future work, either creating more changes on their website with adding on an e-commerce store or doing another website for another project they have or another business that they have. All right, now that we're on the same page, 3 areas of monthly recurring revenue growth. So there's 3 ways you could go about this. In the course that Vito and I are going to talk about in a bit, I have 4 standard operating procedures. They're kind of around these same 3 areas. So even though there's 4, we're talking about 3 different areas. Basically converting clients who you did projects for onto care plans. Surprisingly, there are still people out there that haven't actually gone back to their past clients. There's raising prices on current clients. That is one way to increase your monthly recurring revenue. And then there's just converting leads for sites you did not build straight on to care plans, which is everybody's favorite topic of conversation. And because we're like, hey, if I don't have to even build the project or do the website and I can get them on a care plan, even better. So we'll talk about that as well and where those come from and how we can get more of those. So where are the care plans hiding? Obviously our past clients, anybody we've worked with, anybody we've done work for. A big obstacle actually, and Vito, you feel free to chime in here at any moment with any insight or just pause me. But a big, and I don't know, Vito, if you've seen this, a big issue is people actually end up working with marketing agencies and do a lot of white labeling, not even white labeling out, like they're the outsource. So they don't have the relationship with the client. So I get a lot of people coming to me and they're like, I didn't have a relationship with the client. I did all this work for a marketing agency for a couple of years and the client didn't even know I did the work. Well, it's not your client at that point. So I really try to tell people as early as I can in that process, if I can catch them, I'm like, have the relationship with the client. You can still be that outsource for that marketing agency, but tell them you require the client to directly contract with you for legal reasons, for clarity, for efficiency in the process or whatever. Try to get that relationship with the client. Try to get them face to face with you at some point, and then you tell that marketing agency, we have the care plans, but the care plans have to be contracted with us.
I think that this is one of the things that people try to avoid by doing by working with a third party is like the first thing that they don't want to do is build a relationship with the client, right? That's
Yeah.
the first thing that we want to get off of our table, because in most cases, and I'm sure that you were there as well, Christina, we just want to build. We're coming from the creative space more than the relationships, communications, project management space. And
Yeah.
what do you say to that? Like, so they're
I
going
say that
after
you will
this,
deeply regret it.
right?
You will deeply regret it. And you're only not doing that because you're just not confident in your sales at this moment in your career. But there will be a moment in time where you will be. So you will be confident in what you do and confident in how much you charge, that then you will deeply regret it. So you don't have to be, they could still facilitate the project process. So the marketing agencies can still be facilitating that, but try to get CC'd on the email with your email, right? Like with your company's domain email, or at least for the care plan, have them position it to them and say the person who's help build your website, or the people that we recommend take care of your website is this agency. So you can kind of have a relationship after the project by the marketing agency referring you as the care plan portion of that equation. So there's still a way to kind of let them handle the sales of the project and all of that, but you have it afterwards. And you have to start that conversation now as quickly as possible with who you're working with. Okay. But that's a valid question. And we all start there. Most of us start there, doing work for other people. So and then you go, shoot, there's like 40 people over there that I could have on care plans. All right. The next where care plans are hiding are obviously our clients. Our clients know lots of people. They have colleagues, they have friends and family. So as long as you're really clear that it is what you do, you can have them refer people to you. A great way of doing this is having some kind of referral program where you kick back some kind of flat fee if someone signs on to a care plan. It's just a little incentive to kind of push them a little bit. In my course, I kind of have an email sequence of a good way to do that. But truly our client referrals, at least in my case, were always the source of more care plans. So that's my number one. I love client referrals. The last one is the care plans are obviously hiding in websites that are not supported, websites that are out of date, businesses that are failing at really utilizing their website. And those are our cold lead outreach, obviously. A lot of those clients don't know that they're failing. They don't know that their website is a big security risk. They don't know that it's redirecting to Viagra links. Like they have no idea. So cold outreach in this area is a little tricky. I always say it's the longest and least rewarding of any of our outreach. However, it's not that it can't be done. So those are typically where a lot of the care plans are hiding, where you can grab that and start increasing right away. All right. Next, the process of conversion to care plans. I'm just going to highlight this really quick from a totally different standpoint. So you're thinking, oh yeah, like they go through our intake form and then we respond with a quote and then they, do the website evaluation, they sign up for a care plan. It's a little different when we think about it from the client's perspective or the lead really. The first thing is they need to know what it is that you do. After they know what you do, then they have to understand that they have a need. So this is where a lot of our process for getting care plans falls back on us because we failed in this way. Our website isn't clear with the benefits of what it is that you're offering, what you do, who you do it for, or like your lead magnets, your downloads, your emails are not really specific enough for your clients to understand where they're lacking, where their needs are, that their website does need to be cared for on an ongoing basis, or they could be hacked or have poor performance, which affects their Google search ranking. They're not taking advantage of a lot of lead generation that's come up in the last 6 months or last year that could be really helping convert clients. It's outdated in a way that may be putting people off. It may be too slow to load, for example. So knowing what you do and knowing them understanding their need as fulfilled by what you do is truly the process of conversion. So when someone does refer someone to you, they've kind of done a lot of that work, which is great. But when people are coming to you cold or you're outreaching cold, like this is the chunk that takes the biggest time and skill really in making sure you're positioned right. So once that happens, once they know what it is that you do and they understand their need, then you kind of move forward with having some sort of project with them. And maybe that's the website project, which is awesome. And if it's not, it's like a website evaluation. It's something where you're helping them with that immediate need. So if their website is slow, you're helping them with that immediate need and you're evaluating the website during that for the care plan. So off of the project evaluation, like you're proving your solution and your expertise. So that is the key point here with converting to care plans and getting more care plans. You need to have a way in which you say, I'm your solution. I'm the expert. I can help you get from A to B. And but they first need to understand that you have B and they're at A. so this is really the process of conversion here. And this is why I always say the website evaluation product is the best solution we can provide people whose websites we did not build, because we can lump in their immediate need inside of that and yet clean up their site to get ready for the care plan. So we're not dealing with just like all these problems going straight from I've never touched their website to a care plan. And I'm sure, Vito, you've talked about that as well. Like there's some great software out there for website evaluations. I don't know how many people know what I mean by that, but sometimes it's like a web audit. That's another phrase we use in our industry and stuff like that. All right. So after you've done something like that,
That's Cliff's program.
Yeah. So
Brilliant.
yeah, it is. It is. And so you can do it manually, obviously, but there's a lot of software out there that does it as well. And that's why I always recommend my web audit. So you make the monthly recurring revenue offer, whatever that looks like, depending upon the services you have and what you're offering them, and then they sign on. So that's actually the process. So if someone is not converting, not responding to your emails, or not, you can kind of look at the first two here and go like, did we make it clear what we do? Did we make it clear where their need is? And that's why it's not so automatic. That's why it's really personalized, and mass outreach doesn't really work very well because you do have to personalize these things to better the conversion. So moving on. And I think I have a few more slides and then we can get talking if there's some questions. All right. I'm like, what did I make this slide for? Oh, so I have in the Google Doc a whole bunch of tips for, and I don't know if Vito wants to put up that link again, a whole bunch of tips for these different areas, ramblings of mine that I expand upon in my training. But a couple things I know work really well and getting more care plan clients, bringing it up in every conversation. I bring it up in every conversation, even when I'm, people ask me what I do. I'm like bringing it up and in every conversation, but really in the conversations related to the project. So if a lead comes to you looking for a project and you're on that phone with them for the very first time and they're saying, yeah, we want to redesign our site, you're bringing up that you do website care on an ongoing basis. When you're talking about the proposal, you say, oh, do you note in the proposal where we have the care plan? That's what makes us different. We provide ongoing care that sets us apart and helps our clients really like grow because we offer that. So you bring it up in every conversation. So it's never a surprise. Your website language is really important here. It's not a lot of money considering their investment. So making that really clear in your website language. You can look at a lot of websites of people who are doing care plans really successfully. My krmd.co/client-plans, if someone caught that is my care plan page I've given everybody. So you can see a lot of the language on that as well. Have an entry service, like some kind of audit or evaluation if you did not build the site. And then lead magnet downloads are important for that, knowing what you do and knowing where their need is. So I've seen a lot of examples of lead magnet downloads in agencies and stuff. If you focus on the lead magnet download actually being the care plan or around the care plan, you still get the interest from the project and building the site. I think people miss out on what they could be doing there to really encourage care plans. Of course, at the bottom of your download, you can always have, the advertisement for your care plans. And then the care plan sales page, of course, needs to be fraught with the benefits. Like, what are they getting? A lot of clients think that they can do a project with you and just come back at any time for changes. The problem with that is you're never, you're not waiting for them, like available for them. You're running an agency with other projects and other clients. So they have to kind of get on that priority list in order to have that attention of yours. That means they're investing in you and you're investing in them with your time. So that relationship needs some kind of contractual agreement, right? That monthly relationship means that you're on a retainer. You're kind of available for them and your team is available for them. So if they don't have any requests that month, that's okay. But if they do, you're available. That's what they're getting with it. And the care plan sales page is important to relay that to them, that you're busy, you run an agency, you run a business. We can't be available for anybody who walks in the door, especially if it's their house is on fire. Like, we can't address emergencies for everyone. We need to be on a care plan so we can prevent the emergencies and know that we're available for those clients who are investing in us. That's the idea behind what your care plan sales page should convey. A few more things. This is important. I think people expect care plan conversion happen faster than it actually does. When people don't sign up for a care plan, the loop is not closed. They're still going to have a problem. So they're going to come back. I think that's what people don't understand. As long as you're positioning and as long as you say this is the way you're working and this is how you do and how you solve problems, they come back and you should welcome them coming back. I've seen a couple posts in Facebook where people are like, ha, 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 see, they came back. No, it's not like, look, that's the process. They're supposed to come back. If they don't understand that they need it right away, you haven't failed. They haven't failed. They just haven't recognized the need. And so they go through a problem and something happens and they come back and they get on the care plan. That's the way it's supposed to happen. So at least, like with project clients, you have 3 months of where you're proving to them that you have great communication and you're doing great work, sometimes 6 months, sometimes a year for some people. It's the exact same for care plan clients, right? Or leads going from no care plan to care plan. It takes time. So if they don't sign up right away, that's okay. Like, that's part of the process. Just have your care plans in place. You've positioned. They know that that's how they have to move forward with you. So it takes time. That's okay. For warm, cold leads, use a newsletter to continue to warm them through that process. So if it does take them 6 months to get on, this is a great way to get past clients on care plans or people who never sign up. Just have some kind of regular newsletter that you send out to anybody you've worked with or even leads. Proactively outreach at least for 30 days to try to convert them. That's the best window of time. After 30 days, it kind of falls off their priority list. So proactively outreach for 30 days. But after that, and also use the website evaluation as well. But after 30 days, don't consider it a lost cause. Please don't consider it. It just takes some time. So I think this is kind of what I say. For cold, warm leads, yes. So the website evaluation solves their immediate need. Use that as a solution for their immediate needs. But care plans are proactive and they contribute to positive growth. That's your positioning. Any thoughts on that, Vito, before I go into increasing prices on care plan clients? So that kind of outlines a little bit of converting to care plans.
So I'm making some notes here because I do have some questions, and we can tackle them, I guess, in a go. So
Okay, great. So I'll just do
keep
this
going.
last bit on increasing prices. This is something I get asked a lot because, and it's fair. People start providing care plans, which is great, but they provide them at too low of a price. Or, like with the world we're living in now, prices are going up, the cost of business is going up. You hire more staff, you increase your tools. You just realize that your time is more valuable and your team's time is more valuable and prices need to go up. So this happens. I think 10 to 20% a year is fair. I don't see any pushback with a raise like that. So if you have like $100 care plan, you're looking at maybe going up, what, 115, maybe 120, something like that. 125 feels normal, like 100 to 125. That's something that seems fair and matching a little bit of the cost of business these days. If you haven't done it for a few years, is something that's probably going to be hit with minimal pushback. If someone pushes back, chances are they were probably thinking of canceling anyway. I had my bookkeeper go up from 125 to 180, and that was what, a 50% increase. Like it caused me pause. I was like, oh my gosh, am I paying them way too much a month? But then I looked around at what the services they were providing and what I'd get someplace else. And I was like, okay, it's fine. They're up at market value now. It's too cheap before, actually. So I was like, all right. But it caused me pause. So 10 to 20%, I don't think will cause too much pause. Definitely add more value when you do increase prices, and you have to have a reason, some kind of reason for the change. And that can be adding staff, adding new tools, repositioning to be a specific in one field, and you're going to give them more solutions, adding more to your care plans, things like that. So yeah, always have a reason for the change with increasing prices. There's better tips in that Google Doc that you can grab and get, rather than, because we're hitting that time here when I want to make sure I'm mindful of getting to questions. And I can go over those if we have extra time. I have this slide from a previous webinar. I like it a lot. I like that little image a lot. It's cute. But I do want to stress that your agency is going to thrive when you focus on relationship and when that relationship produces value. So as long as you're focusing on those things, you're doing the right thing. Care plans are the epitome of that. They are the manifestation of that relationship. So focus on value, focus on relationship, and you will do great. Yeah. So we'll get to talking about this in a little bit. I'll exit out of this, and Vito, we can come back to the course and the coupon for the course. But let me get some of your questions and your thoughts. Oh, I can't hear you. Is it me?
Now you
there you
can.
are. Okay,
Right,
great.
okay. So that was awesome, and I did write a few notes here. Some are questions, some are statements. So I just wanna talk a little bit about the relationship when it comes to working with our clients, because as you mentioned, a lot of times this is the things that in Facebook groups, and for a lot of us, even internally, we're just kind of scared of building a relationship. Like, we even think about this, and I know that I've been there myself. We don't want the client to talk to us. Just don't talk to me, just pay the monthly bill and
Right.
don't talk to me ever. But in reality, the more we build our relationship, the more value we add to them, and the more revenue we generate for our own
Yes.
business. That's why there's account managers in big agencies.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
And
exactly.
so how would you suggest to a freelancer, a small agency, even a mid-sized agency, to go over or to go past this personal challenge that we're experiencing?
Yeah, you don't need to talk to your clients every day. That doesn't need to happen. Proactively sending an email at least once a month is enough of some form of a relationship. it's really all how when you speak to them and how much you're positioning yourself as someone who can help them. So rather than a technician that's pushing buttons. So I think that's really what it is when I talk about relationship. It's more of realizing in the conversation, and then maybe that goes back a little bit to people just how they're using their proposal language, what they have on their website. You want to kind of get out of that technician mindset of where someone that just pushes the buttons on a website to where someone who helps you with solutions. If you help them with a solution, clearly you're going to become one of their favorite people, rather than anybody could have done this. So that's kind of what we're looking for. And you only need to have some kind of communication with them once a month. It could be a newsletter, it could be a care plan report, it could be both. And then every now and again, every quarter, just looking at their website, seeing that if there's opportunities for growth,
Right.
that's kind of where it's at, right? There's certain clients that we clicked with that, that were my favorite people. I would say out of all of our lists, maybe, 10 to 15% were really people that I would say moved from client to kind of like a friend, we clicked really well. And then there were others that I never talked to, but still viewed me as someone who, was helping them, and would refer people to me. Just yesterday, Vito, I sold my agency in 2020, but I still get emails to my old email. And just yesterday, it was a woman who had canceled her care plan before I sold my agency. So like a couple years before, because their restaurant shut down. So she canceled the plan. And her husband is a chef and he probably was doing something else. But she came back yesterday and said, I've got a friend who needs help with their WordPress website. I thought of you, So, it wasn't like I had a tremendous relationship with her, but certainly whenever I was in LA, I kept being like, oh, I want to come by the restaurant. I want to come try the food. It looks amazing. The ways in which I talked to them were just real.
Like
they,
people, right?
Yeah, just like
people.
people. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. I did not want to get on the phone when I first started out. I didn't like talking to people. So I think it's a matter of confidence if you're feeling a little bit like this is too much. But Vito, you bring up a great point. You can hire someone for that role. You can hire someone to be an account manager. Even if you are just kind of want to be on the dev side, you can go into business with someone and they can be that front-facing person.
I even say that in my masterclass, I'm introducing this concept about relationships and the way that it is basically like a bank, and it's a very it's a very kind of boyish way of defining it, I guess. But it's because it makes it very transactional, right? When you think about it like that, but really that's what it is. And what I mean by that is that relationship has to have deposits in order for us to make withdrawals. So if we want to extract more value or increase the revenue or have them answer the phone when we need them, or when we are in a slump in the business, or we have like a bit of a famine type of situation, it's where we can just call up a few clients. And I remember you talked about adding a booking form. Let's do it now. I remember you wanted to have a client area. What about that? So having them having them being positive and open to our ideas when we bring them to them, have to have the level of interactions that we bring in first. We have to make those deposits to make sure that we can get the withdrawals when we need them.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And there may be some people who just naturally have that difficulty in real life, in IRL, as the kids say. In real life, that's the slang right now. I'm old, so I have to.
It's like 90s slang, Christina.
Yeah, right, exactly. The chef's kiss is new. Like, oh, it's so chef's kiss. I'm like, oh, I'm really old because I don't know what that means. Say that. Nope. So if it's hard in real life, then yes, it's going to be hard in business. Yeah. If it's not hard in real life, if you have friends, and then no, it shouldn't be hard in business. If it's hard in real life, then you know where your limitations are and you make concessions for those limitations. Maybe a different approach will work, or maybe going into business with someone else who can kind of be that will work as well. But that's a great way of putting it, just like in real relationships. And when people are paying on an ongoing basis for you, they're investing in you.
Yeah.
So people need to realize that's why we ask for a monthly fee, right? You need to stay in business, and then you make
Right.
deposits for them. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes if they don't see the value that you're providing, because we all know, we all send the managed WP or the main WP reports, but rarely they open that email even, it just kind of
Yeah.
stays there for months.
But at least it's
Uh,
there. They
yeah,
know it came.
that's true. That is still a form of a deposit,
Yeah.
but I would even suggest to well, and the way we structured it at the agency is it was dependent on the level of investment that they're making. So the ones that are on the lowest tier,
Hmm.
and maybe I can even pull up the so I kind of, when you were talking, I was kind of thinking of our old care plan sales page,
Yeah.
right?
Let's
So
see
we
it.
had we had these plans, right?
Yeah.
So
Let's
we
see it.
started this, love
Ah,
your
I love
website,
that.
we love you back, and
Yep.
just kind of defining
Features
this
and
based on
benefits.
their reality,
Yeah.
and then pricing,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what we did here is these guys, and this starts here. We had clients that were sitting on a 3,000, 4,000 K a month.
Right.
But these guys they got a phone call from me once a month.
Right.
These guys I was talking to once a quarter, or when they needed something or something like that. But I was the one that was initiating a conversation
Mm-hmm.
with them.
Yeah.
And at first it was phone calls, then it just went to be emails, but not just the newsletter. The newsletter happened to everyone, but these guys got a more personal approach, personal reach out, uh,
Exactly.
from from the agency owner, even
Yes.
after I had a team and stuff like that.
And that's
um,
such a great way to make boundaries as well. So if someone is asking more of you than the plan that they're on, I mean, that's a simple way of saying it. You should
yeah,
be on our higher plan, and we'd be able to have these conversations more frequently. Yeah.
what else do I have here? I can show
This is
you.
great.
We do this kind of
Yes.
before and
Look
after.
at that.
Clean it up, clean house, and all of the benefits.
Zippy cards.
Yeah,
Yes. Love it.
it's all, but
This
it
is a great
worked.
page.
Thank you. So anyway, that was around the relationship related stuff. Let me
Mm-hmm.
drop this one out of here, and let me see if we have some other stuff that I wanted to ask you. Right, what do you think we should all post in the newsletter?
Oh, that's a great point. So the number one thing people really want is what's changing, and most of the time that's something related to search or social. So keeping abreast on what changes are affecting their website, I think, is the thing. They don't care about WordPress news. They don't care about any kind of tech news. They don't care about any of that. It's just what news affects their website. So my clients don't want to follow that news. They want you to distill it for them. What are the points they need to follow? So stuff like that. Usually social and search to me. And
Okay.
then highlight one of your clients. So,
Nice.
highlight one of your clients, what they're doing or something, if they opened up a new location for people who maybe serve a lot of people locally or have a new product, and clients love that. So it's a great way to kind of feature them and make them
Maybe a
feel
new
good.
project that you launched.
Exactly, new portfolio piece added, and then in that portfolio piece, though, you could say, highlight something that, they did that other people could do. So, well, in this one, we ended up putting in, a lead generation funnel, or something like that,
Right.
and they're like, "Oh, you can do that? Do that for me." So really simple. I'm kind of one of those where the newsletter shouldn't be too long because I then
Yeah.
tune out and I delete. So those like 3 items would be awesome. What's the latest thing happening now that affects my website? Featured client, and maybe a featured project with something cool that we did. That if you want to do it, give us a call.
Okay, I love it. I have one more question around. Let's say we do get we go for the approach of bringing on care plan clients that we didn't do the project for, right?
Mhm.
So every website comes with its own tech stack, its own plugin set,
Yeah.
and themes, and all of those kind of things. Um, and you might not have licenses for all of this stuff.
Mhm.
So what do you do? How do you
Yep.
maintain this stack, or not just let it go like crazy?
Yeah. That's where the website evaluation comes in, because those are the immediate things you need. Can you update all the plugins, and can you update the theme?
Okay.
So if they don't have the licenses for that, that is the point of the website evaluation, to say, okay, don't throw the previous developer under the bus. Just they need this, they need the licenses. And if you have pro licenses for these things, then you say, on our care plan, we'll take care of that. But they have to sign up for that before the care plan, right? Because the plugins need to be up to date and the theme needs to be up to date. If they can't afford it, it really depends on risk for you, about you saying, well, eventually you have to do this. So, we need to do this within the next 3 months, and you can push that, or switch them on to a plugin which you do support, right? And that's going to cost them too. So do they want to pay for the license, or do they want to pay for the extra time to switch over? So it is a process. It is something that happens over time. That punch list you get with the website evaluation is not going to be complete, usually, going on to the care plan. So it's something you kind of have to chip away. We had clients whose,
Because you did exactly that. You had like a care plan business, like WP Buffs or Go WP, right? So that's the business that you sold. Am I correct?
I sold my web agency. We had, I think, 50 care plan clients at the time, and that was a significant portion of the revenue and the reason for the value on the care plan. And then with the care plans, and then we also increased the price of sale based on projected project quotes off of clients and things like that. Yeah. So it wasn't a white label. We weren't.
Okay.
Yeah, we weren't working with agencies. We were the agency. And so we took on quite a few clients that we didn't build. So that was a common issue we had, was how do you deal with this? And I just say, over time, just pace it. Just they make them aware of the problem. And then just pace it. Everyone understands that something is now outdated. Everybody gets that, because they have a phone that they like to replace every 2 years. So everyone understands that. Your theme is outdated. It's no longer supported. We need to eventually move on to a better stack. So
yeah, and I think just the phones ecosystem really helped train clients in this notion of needing to keep things up to date, not only on the hardware but on the software, because you get those push to update the Facebook app, all of those things, which is very similar to the stuff that happened on WordPress. Before that, these things used to happen on their own. We didn't even think about updates, as far as I recall.
Oh man, yes. And what happened was, oh gosh, what year was it? I got to go all the way back in my brain of WordPress. It was, there was a big hack. I want to say 2010, 2011, maybe. There was there was a hack in WordPress, I think, where that started then becoming the conversation. It was like, oh, this needs to be kept up to date. Yeah. So, it wasn't, when we all started using WordPress, it really wasn't common knowledge that this was something. And also people, expected everything to update well. And that didn't happen. Things were breaking.
They still are sometimes.
They still are.
Okay, so I have something around clients that are not on care plans. This relates to something that you mentioned around them reaching out when they have an emergency, right?
Oh my gosh.
So let's say someone is not on a care plan. He is a client. We build a website. They didn't want to go through with it. It's too expensive, or I'll do it myself. My cousin will do it. All of those kind of stuff. And then the website got hacked, or even something basic like the SSL expired, and they don't know what to do.
Yes.
How did you approach that? It says an emergency. The website is down.
Yes. Okay. This is a great question. Many different scenarios, many different outcomes. The first being, whenever a site comes to me, I immediately put it in Sakuri and see if it's hacked. Because there's a totally different procedure if it's actually a hacked website. So that's something totally different. And you kind of have to know.
They're not on a care plan. They're not.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
So if someone comes to you and there's a fire, and they're asking you to put it out, the first thing is it hacked? Because, like I said, it's something totally different if it's hacked. You need to know your procedure for that. And if you have someone you go to for that, what the cost is and whatever, and you would send them there, or if you guys have a service for that, that takes half a millisecond to figure out online.
Right.
So that's something else. But if it's not hacked, if it legitimately something's wrong, right? This is where you reiterate your care plan again, that this is the reason that they're on a care plan. And you can kind of make the judgment call. Do you go ahead and see it, look into it, and they sign up for the care plan? Like, are they going to do that? And I think generally you kind of evaluate where you are with the client. Were they easy to work with? Did you enjoy them? Did you think they were going to convert? They just didn't understand. And you can make the call. There's been times where we would quote out the fix and include a couple months of the care plan with that, right? And then it would move on to the care
Right.
plan. That's a good way to do it. Stressing the importance of this happened because you were not proactively updating the website. So we're going to put 3 months in this quote and we're going to fix it. And then after the 3 months, we're going to go on to regular, but we need to make sure that it's okay for the next couple months. That's a good way of doing it. The other is, referring them to these fixed sites. And I know that's sounds kind of harsh, but if they are rude and if they were not an enjoyable client and they flat out rejected your care plan out of pride, refer them to the fixed websites and just say,
Let
this
them
is the
deal
reason
with
we
it.
have care plan clients. This is why we proactively do this. I hear you could go to here, here, and here, give them 3 options and say, if you do want, and if you want them back, if you do want ongoing care, feel free to come back to us and we can make sure this never happens again. Always give them a solution though. Always give them a way out. I think it's, if you want to position yourself as someone who's helpful, be helpful. But referring someone to one of the mass market fixed sites is still helpful and it gets them off your plate. And I had a time when a client wanted to refer to me broken websites. And I eventually had to stop and I'd be like, you know what? I can't keep doing this because the level of emotion is so
Right.
high when you're coming to me that I can't deal with that stress on an ongoing basis. So although you think you're doing me a favor and I appreciate it, I can't do that. If you want to, because it was a marketing agency or whatever, he knew that just wanted to refer all these people. I said, let's refer them before they're broken.
Right.
And
So
then
we
we
can
can
make
move
sure
on.
it doesn't break.
Yes. And it was just, and the problem with one of the
It's
broken
like a towing
websites,
service.
oh my gosh, the problem with one of the broken websites is that it was the fault of the person who had built the site that they were still working with. So
Right.
it was tough to be like, they're the reason this happened. And it was an awkward situation. But so anyway, that's what I would say. Lump it into a little bit of a larger quote because of the emergency with months of care plan in it and tell them they need to move on to care plan. And if they don't, then when they come back again, you just say like, okay, 3 strikes, you're out. We kind of gave you the chance, but most likely they will because you solved the problem. It happened. They got it. Mea culpa, and
Now
they'll
they
move
know.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What about the lead magnet? So you
Yeah.
were talking about creating a lead magnet that is focused mostly around the care plan from the beginning.
Yeah.
What do you think would be a good topic for that? I've seen a bunch of lead magnets for web agencies that are just like speed up your website and like
Mm-hmm.
do those kind of stuff. And we had them as well, but they're even ours, they were written from our point of view. They
Yeah.
weren't written from a client's perspective. So how do you make sure that this is something that is actually going to be actionable or helpful to them?
Yeah. In my care plan sales outreach and conversion course, that is like a big topic of the cold outreach of how to create those lead magnets and what to put into them. So I'll touch upon it lightly here, but if someone's really interested in like cold outreach and really trying to warm cold leads, that's going to get you a lot of probably more in-depth view on what to do. I take in the course, I take kind of 3 different approaches to the download. I think the key being here, don't let it sit on your website in a form for them to put their email in. I would be proactively adding them to emails, proactively putting links to them in an email, and that's really where it's going to serve you. So it's outreaching to people and actually having it in the email as that education tool for them to go to. do people sit down and really read like an ebook or a PDF? Like, no, they're not. But so it needs to be short. It needs to be those quick, like 5 things or 10 things that they can do. And it needs to be something that they realize, but they'd rather have you do it. And that's the best kind. To me, that's the best kind of lead magnet download, is that they're like, oh yeah, I definitely need to do what you're saying here. Can you do it instead of me? So.
Okay, that makes sense. There's even a framework for this, right? I forgot the name of this. Sage, right? Sage.
I like that.
Sage lead magnet methodology. Yeah.
Nice.
Magnet builder. This is I actually learned this from Cliff from Web Audit.
Yeah.
Let me so I'm gonna give him a bit of a
There's
thing
so
here.
much out there, especially from Cliff. Cliff has a lot of great stuff on that too.
So Sage is do I have it here? Yeah. Short, actionable, goal-oriented, easy.
Perfect. And please put your care plan like call to action at the bottom of every like PDF you send to people, so it's easy for them to find what it is that you do.
Right. Cool. Last question for me, Christina. I've had this myself. I was scared of raising prices for a long time because I was scared of losing clients.
Yeah.
And I have salaries to worry about, and I have next month to worry about, and it's just before the summertime, so there's gonna be a downtime. And what do we do? How do we do it?
Yes. Okay. So I put a couple tips in that. Get more Google Doc. How many people are in there? A few people are in there. Good. Okay. I think the biggest thing is you should be raising prices on your care plan sales page anyway, because that's not affecting your past clients. That's just affecting new clients, right?
Yeah.
And so if past clients see where the current care plan price is, automatically they're on legacy pricing.
Right.
So automatically they're on legacy pricing. There is a loyalty bonus to that, right? The fact that they've been with you and stayed on for many years, there is that loyalty bonus of like, don't want to get you up to the current price because you've been with me. That's definitely not how we're treated with everything else out there. Any other recurring revenue services we're all on, subscriptions we're on, do not treat us that way. But since care plans are about relationship and they lead to more project work, there's there's that of what you're saying there. We don't want to turn someone off so it's just any kind of natural, normal relationship. So you're going to raise the prices when you realize that the current price is unsustainable. It's not profitable. We can't continue at this price. So it's really knowing
maybe
your profit
that's
margin
even
at that point.
a little too late, because if I do it because of that reason, it means that I found out that I have a cash flow issue. Yeah. And so that is just gonna create more fear of losing clients, because I'm just on the edge of it,
Yes, that's exactly right. Yes. So if you're consistently raising your prices over time and you're adding on an X number of care plans every year, then automatically your recurring revenue is going up in a great way. But you can look at the past clients and that maybe are half that price and comfortably raise them 20% because their current plan. And in that email, you're saying our current plans are X. You're still on our loyalty plan. And
I like that. So basically you raise twice before you raise the clients.
Yeah. Love that. Yeah. That's a great formula. We'll go with that. Nice. Vito, have the copyright on that.
Right. Amazing, Christina. Thank you. Yeah. So where can people learn more about this course, and what's the course about?
Okay. So as you know, I have a whole suite of courses on creating the care plan, getting the process down, hiring the team, sales in terms of what we were kind of talking about, from project to care plan, a little bit of this. I kind of think of it like a 101 in many ways of that sales course. So I really wanted to do a 201 course. I really wanted to dig really deep into converting cold, reaching out to past clients in a more detailed way, email sequences, Airtable bases, full task list, that whole thing, just digging into it, especially with the warm referrals outreach. I love that one, and getting, your clients to send you referrals. So that's what I did here. It's 16, 20, 22 videos, I think, something like that. And it just goes over everything I'm giving you, like all the email copy, the task list for all the processes, the Airtable bases for you to duplicate and put all your stuff in there. And really digging deep into all the standard operating procedures around each of these sequences. I have it on sale right now to the end of the month. So if you use a coupon I created for your audience, Vito, you
What
guys
was it? Oh, get 50.
get more 50. It'll take $50 off that current sales price. So that coupon is good for however long you guys are using with Vito. But if you stack it with a sale, it's even better. So
Right,
the
it's like
sale,
double.
yeah, right. Sale ends in 3 days, 11 hours, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. So, so if you're interested in this is probably a good time to snag it. And if you have any questions, you can reach me at hello@wpcaremarket.com. I'm an open book. I am happy to answer any questions for people. And I just want to lay all my processes out, open the door to how we were doing it, and people can tweak it to their own system. So you're going to take this, and at least it's something for you to take, right? Email copy, task list for you to personalize and get more clients.
So how do you look at these things? Because I found that when I'm implementing strategies, it's very easy to try and put your own stamp on it, but it's actually going to work against you in most cases. So how do you suggest approaching an SOP? Just executing
Yeah.
as is, or just making it your
Mhm.
own, like you were saying?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I create these with generic in mind. So if you are niched down to something very specific to an industry, certain types of clients, that's probably where customizations are going to come in. That's where you're going to customize the email copy. That's where you're going to customize the task list for a couple different steps because of the industry that you're in doesn't respond that way. That's where I would see that happening. You just knowing your clients and your process enough. Also, I keep this very tool agnostic. So you might have a tool that changes the process a little bit. I would see it being tweaked in that way. I did this course in an interesting way in that the first lesson is kind of creating everything. So creating all the lead magnets, creating the products, creating the let me look at my downloads here so I can remember, like creating your referral sales page, so all the work is done in the first lesson. And then the rest of the lessons go through each SOP, which shares a lot of those resources. Because I found that is going to make people implement better. If the
Or if they
first
have it in their hands.
they already have it. So they
Yeah.
don't have to pause their going through the training. They already have everything ready to go. And then it's just about like plugging in things. So I did it that way on purpose. And I've gotten good feedback from that. People have really responded well to that. So that I was excited to hear that. I was like, I just was creating going, you know what? A lot of this crosses over. I don't want to go back and say, remember, and it's like, let me just have everybody do it right away. So I think that'll help with implementation.
So a lot of the people that are watching us, they already have care plans. They already have care plan clients. They already have an email that they send out when they do this. So who is this one for, or how can they, or will they also benefit from this package?
Yeah. So people with existing care plans are going to benefit out of 3 of the 4 SOPs, really, getting more referrals from your current clients, cold outreach, and then raising your prices on your current clients. So
Right.
you're going
I
to
think
benefit from those 3 out of
that's a
4.
big one. That's a big one. It's a big showstopper for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Amazing, Christina. So thanks for joining me today.
Thank
And
you.
make sure that you go to this link that is right here on the screen below, wpcaremarket.com/get more, and use get more 50 to get more discount. On the so 349 is the standard, 297 is right now, and they get $50 less, right? If you use this
Yeah.
coupon.
Yep.
Amazing. Thank you for doing this for our community.
Absolutely.
And thanks for coming here. And I'm excited to do more stuff with you this year.
Yes, Vito, I really look forward to it. You're producing some great content too. So look forward to 2022 and what's ahead.
Awesome. So have a good weekend, everyone. And I'll see you on the next coaching session.